Welcome to the Really Likable Geeks podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Stuart.
And this is a podcast where we talk about nerd stuff and things that keep you from going outside, like video games, comic books, movies, and other nerd things alike.
Steve, I have a question for you.
I have an answer, I hope.
All these nerd things that we do that keep us from going outside.
It's a lot.
The books, the video games, the board games, the Dungeons and Dragons.
The crushing loneliness.
The crippling depression. Where'd you get your love for it?
Where did I get my love for for the nerddom?
I mean, they're all different nerddoms. Where'd you get your love for, I don't know, let's say...
Nerd
Video games.
enthusiast.
For video games?
Yep,
My dad.
All right.
Like, straight up, my dad. We want to go around the room and just say what it is, and then we'll elaborate on it.
Yeah.
Mine was my dad.
So that was like your basis for being in video games?
Like, I can actually remember being introduced to... Words are hard.
Words are hard.
Introduced into nerd
English.
culture specifically from my dad.
Mm.
Yeah. Like, I had no grasp on that, like, in elementary school or anything. Like, from other kids. It was just strictly my dad introduced me to it. What about you?
Oh,
me?
me?
We'll go down the line, yeah.
Oh, well, because you guys were talking to each other. I didn't know if I
Okay.
was
What about
like-
you, Matt?
Yeah. All right.
No, let's invite Stuart to this
Hey,
conversation.
Stuart. That's nice. Part of the show.
Yay!
You know, no one in my family...
That was really difficult. Did you see how
Yeah,
much
you
I struggled?
that.
I really wanted it. That's too much work.
It's so simple.
Anyways.
You know, nobody in my family is really as big of a nerd about what you would call nerd culture as I am. So, you know, comics and nerdy movies and video games and things like that. It's kind of just me. But
you know, I've heard you mention before on this podcast that your uncle that was one of the founding members?
yeah,
Comic-Con?
on
I'm talking.
Comic-Con?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was, and that was like. But I'm saying my direct family. Like
Oh,
my
okay.
grandpa, when he came, my grandpa was from Indonesia originally, and when he came to America, like he was
Good
really
movie. Sorry.
big coming to America. That was based on my life. No, but when he came to America, when he was first learning to read English, comics were really a good way for him to learn because it was a visual representation.
And they're short.
And they're short. It was a visual representation of what was being said in the bubbles.
Yeah.
So that was how he learned to read English. And then from there, he would go out with my uncle and they would buy a bunch of comics every week. But direct family, like my mom and my dad are not into comics or video games at all.
That just was never a thing.
No, I mean, they would buy me video games and things like that, but they were never really... Like, I would play Madden with my dad. And that was
okay.
like... I would play sports video games with my dad. And that was like kind of the extent.
Is that how you got an appreciation for sports games? Was
It
because
is,
of your
'cause I grew
nostalgic,
up-
like childhood and stuff.
Well, that too. I grew up playing sports too.
Oh, okay.
Like I played hockey and football. So, but at the same time, I also grew up with my parents were really enthusiastic about things that aren't necessarily like nerd culture. I guess like my mom is a big drama person. Like she did drama all throughout high school, and
okay.
I grew up in a really like musical house. Like my dad is a huge like music snob. Like he will talk for hours and hours and hours about music.
That's dope.
So he's a nerd for music, I guess.
Yeah.
And my mom is a nerd for theater and old movies. So
But
that
as
was,
far as actual
Cary Grant.
nerddom,
yeah, but and at the same time though, my dad's a Raiders fan, and like I first
Jesus.
learned about cosplaying from Raiders fans because that's all it is. Like
Yeah.
if you've ever seen a Raiders game, there's Darth Vader and
Oh, yeah.
who's a really nice
Oh,
guy. He's
but
a really nice guy.
I'm going to cut you off for just 1 second
fine.
here.
Time's up.
So you remember when we had the podcast where we talked about real like LARPing, like tournaments and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, we brought
Okay.
Hardest in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Those
was
dudes were cool.
Yeah, they were great.
We recently got a buddy of mine who's listening, and he messaged me on Instagram. Was like, I didn't know you did a podcast. When
Dude,
I linked
name
him
drop?
and everything. Huh?
Name drop. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
throw a shout out to him.
Dotson, Steven Dotson.
There you go.
No.
Yeah.
Pop-up Dotson.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a story behind that.
Oh, we'll tell you the story
Softball.
of this. Softball.
Oh.
Yeah, Dotson. He hit me up on Instagram, and he was like, "I didn't know you had a podcast.
He's
all
gonna
this
hate
stuff."
me.
Well, he listened to the LARP, the one where we talked about LARPing. He was like, he made. I don't know why we didn't think about this, but the WWF is basically
That's the other thing is
Yeah,
I
we
was
never went there. He's the one that brought it
That's
up.
amazing.
I was like, oh, it is.
So there was the groundwork. I guess there was the groundwork for being a nerd in my family, but I was the one that took it to like the niche of like comics and movies and video
You
games.
took it to the extra step.
Yeah, and Dungeons and Dragons and things like that. So
By the way, shout out to Steve Dodson. Thanks for listening, bro. We appreciate you.
You're the best.
At popping up.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Steve.
sorry, not sorry.
Anyways.
Cosplaying. I mean, that's like, to me, there's no actual difference between a guy who goes to Comic-Con dressed up like Superman and a guy who goes to a
Like
football game and like paints his face, or a guy who goes to NAMM.
Yeah.
Like, because my dad's played at NAMM like a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So
Did he go to NAMM this year?
not this year. He was there playing last year. He actually had his own. He was in one of the booths for the guitar vendors.
So for
Pono-
our listeners,
Shout out to Pono Guitar. Those guys are great.
for
from Hawaii.
our listeners that don't know, perhaps you should explain NAMM
Oh,
so that they don't think it's the war.
okay. NAMM is the big North American music convention. So that's where all the vendors and everything meet up to sell different wares. So he was there, and he played in the Pono guitar booths. Pono is a company from Hawaii, and they originally made ukuleles, like really high-end ukuleles, like thousands of dollars. And they just recently started making guitars. And so
I
my
just
dad
recently
was there
learned
playing.
that there are electric ukuleles.
Yeah. There's pretty much electrical everything.
I just recently learned that. It blew my mind.
You know, like one of the coolest electrical instruments is an electric cello.
That
Like, they're
sounds
They're
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched the piano guys?
Yeah.
They use electric cellos. They're incredible. Lindsey Sterling actually uses an electrical violin. They're completely like, it's just a frame. There's no like internal, like nothing.
Right. You're
And
not.
It's
It's
just
not
the
the
outline basically
Yeah.
with electrical parts. They're amazing. They sound incredible.
You know what's an instrument that I always like? I've only played it once, but I like really enjoyed it. Was a theremin.
Oh yeah,
Those
things
so
are
much
wicked.
fun. Do you know what I'm talking about? A theremin.
No.
So it's a pipe standing up, and then the bass like of it. And you've heard the Beach Boys song "Good Vibrations."
Yeah.
That's a theremin that makes that, and you move your hand, and it breaks the wave, the electrical wave, and it changes the pitch. So you're literally using both your hands, and you're just moving in empty air, and it creates that sound.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
So it's an
Awesome.
electrical feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really hard instrument to play, like with it not sounding like you're strangling a cat.
Well, yeah, because you need surgeon's hands. Even a little bit is going
Yeah.
to throw off the pitch.
No, it sounds really cool. Very difficult to play.
Have you ever seen one of those instruments? Jeremy Soule has one. It's the guitar. It's like a 6-string guitar, but then off the back of the guitar, this like huge bridge comes up over the top, like a rainbow almost, and it's got bass strings on it, and you can play the
Yeah,
guitar
I
and
have
the bass.
seen that.
Those things are wicked cool. I
Yeah.
don't know what it's called, but it looks really cool. It sounds awesome.
That's gnarly.
You have to have such a stretch
You have to have giant hands
to like
to be able
play
to
and then
play
like
both
hit
of
the
those.
oh jeez, but they're cool looking. Look
I
at
was
Jeremy
always
Soule's
impressed-
Streets of Whiterun.
I was always
He plays
impressed
it. It's
with
pretty awesome.
Geddy Lee being able to play bass and synth at the same time.
Dude's a wizard.
Yeah.
Anyways, way off topic.
Hulk wizard.
Yeah.
Oh, wizard.
So I guess I had the groundwork, but I never.
You had the steps, but you had to make it your own.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So.
What about you, Matt?
I got a love of like books and movies from
Books. Oh, sorry.
You'll be good at it. Wait, what?
You'll be good at books.
Arson.
I'll win at everything forever. But no, I got a love from books and movies from books more from my mom and movies more from my dad. It was my uncle that introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons.
You told me about that.
Yeah, I think the stories I was telling on our last podcast was my first introduction to Dungeons and Dragons. But video games, I never had any video game influence in my home. Like none of my family had that. I heard about it from friends at school, and I was always a little bit jealous. Like, oh man, I wish I could play some of these games. They sound awesome, but I don't have the capacity to. And then I got an NES for, I want to say it was my 6th, somewhere in that range, birthday from the neighbor across the street, and that's where my love of video games began, because I was just like, I get to play video games now. This is awesome, and I've always been behind the times, and I'm completely okay with that, because I've always I got my NES late, probably about the time that the Super was coming out. I didn't get a Super.
Oh, so you're always like a gen behind.
Yeah, I've always been.
That's
a
cool
gen
though
behind.
because you know what games are good,
Yeah, I would hear
wish I
about
would've
it
started
from
that
my
way.
friends.
so you could get good games.
I couldn't get good though. I was terrible at that game.
So wait, so did that hinder your ability to actually like have like game conversations with friends at school? Because you figure friends are playing the GameCube going, oh, Paper Mario or whatever.
If they were playing a current game, yeah, I couldn't talk about it. I'd listen
Oh,
in
that
because
sucks.
I'd want to hear like what they thought of it. Because if it was a terrible game, I would know eventually when I got around to it. And don't skip that game.
Oh man, that's crazy.
But like if I couldn't join in the conversation.
That's crazy. So when they were talking about the current Zelda, you were still like you still had no idea.
Steve,
He's
you
never
know,
played any Zelda.
you let me borrow Twilight Princess 2 years
He's
ago.
never
That was
played
the only
any
Zelda.
He
Incorrect.
played.
I played Twilight Princess
He
2
played
years ago.
Twilight Princess 2 years ago.
That was the
It
only
was the
Zelda I've
only
ever
one he
played.
ever played.
Yeah.
I let him borrow
This
it.
was
and-
Final Fantasy 15 was the first Final Fantasy you ever played.
That's true.
which is weird because you could have played Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3. Was
1, 2,
on?
4, I think it was, or
I just
Was on
never
the
did.
original Nintendo.
I think it was one of them was. I think it was actually one that wasn't on the NES. I think that was Japan only.
Okay.
I can't remember. But
I
anyway,
mean, I could
you
get it
could
on my
have.
phone.
You could. Yeah, well, no, back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, when I had a smartphone, 5 years ago, I
Yeah.
could have played them. I just haven't.
Yeah.
Never did.
But he loved Twilight Princess.
Oh,
Oh,
Twilight
yeah,
Princess
it's a good
it
game.
was great.
It's
But
fantastic.
I never, and this might just be nostalgia. I didn't have as much fun playing Twilight Princess as I did playing Ocarina of Time. Sorry, dude. Like,
I
to me,
think-
that's Zelda. Like, that's
I think
if I was gonna pick a Zelda universe, and I'd say like this is like if there was a key universe to the Zelda multiverse, I would say it's Ocarina of Time.
so. Here's my plan. I'm gonna get Ocarina of Time and play it.
I'm
I already
so mad. I can feel it.
I know,
Like,
and I'll break this tie because
all right.
I can't comment on it. I've heard that it is one of the quintessential, like, just the Zelda, but I've also
it's
heard,
like the definitive Zelda.
I've also heard on the flip side of that coin that the loading, everything you do, load this, load that, it breaks the gameplay for
It
you.
was part of the times though.
But
like,
and that's where I'm saying I've heard both sides of the
Yeah.
coin. So I think I'll put that on my list of things to do. I'll totally play that.
here's the thing
But you guys know
though.
what I
If
think?
you play it now, it's gonna be terrible because that no game, at least in my opinion, stands up to the test of time. Because you become so used to how
I'm sorry. I
good
thought you were
graphics-
making like a joke.
No, I'm being serious.
I thought you were making an Ocarina of Time test of time joke.
No.
I was like, wow.
No.
Anyways,
That would have been good.
that would have been
would've
good,
been-
but
that
I
would've been
caught it. You didn't mean to do it.
I was trying to make a serious point though.
Okay.
I
Well,
think
I'm
All right, game face, guys.
game face, really. So no video game stands the test of time. Like there's books that will always be classics
Really?
regardless of era.
Uh-huh.
There are movies that are timeless regardless of era.
Truth.
But I feel like video games and the same thing with paintings and poems and songs will always be timeless. I feel like video games can't do that because we become so used to how like the graphics look now and how
I
like
feel like they can in a way because you just threw out books will be timeless, and it's like if you look at Romeo and Juliet,
okay.
timeless classic.
Yep.
Shakespeare.
Mhm.
Every ninth grader reads it.
Yeah.
I was not even remotely entertained.
Yeah, if you're a teacher
that's a
listening to this,
personal
stop making
opinion.
them.
That's
do
true,
that.
but just from the standpoint,
old.
most of the literary classics, while I thought they were good,
don't make them.
I wasn't entertained as I would be reading a current novel.
But
And
you understand why.
exactly, and I think video games can do that. If you look back to the older games, there are some that are just classic. They defined genres. They were what they were. But like you said, playing them now because we've become so accustomed to the newer graphics, the better consoles, everything's better. They're not as entertaining.
Right.
The loading screens, 8-bit. I mean, yeah, indie developers are doing it now, but this is kind of.
Yeah.
I reread William Gibson's Neuromancer.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
know that book.
We've
know of
talked
it.
about that on the podcast before too.
I reread it recently.
Okay.
And he gets so many things right about the internet but some things are just so very wrong.
Mm.
But even still, I still enjoy it, even though technically, like, it happens, like, I think it takes place like a year ago. I think it's 2016 that the book actually takes place in. But it's still, to me, like, so good, even though, like, I know that it has no basis in the real world, and, like, most of the stuff that he predicted about the future didn't come to pass or didn't actually happen.
Marty McFly was only a year off.
That's true, too. And I think that's why I'm saying, like, movies and art like that will stand the test of time, but are we going to do a hoverboard episode? Or are we gonna talk about-
I don't know. He's just like glaring at me.
Because I'm just. Did you ever end up catching up to current gen at all? Because I mean, I know I got you a PS4 for your birthday.
Congratulations, I caught up to current gen.
But like, but you had a 360.
Yes.
Was that current? Did you get that when the Edge was current or when?
I bought that 360 for $199.99, refurbished with 2 wireless controllers and a headset with a 20 gig hard drive.
Was the Xbox One out, though? I think is the question he's asking.
Okay.
Was
Xbox
it still
One,
PS3?
Xbox One was not out.
Was the PS3 still out?
PS3
As the most current gen.
Yes, PS3 was still out, but this it was not first gen 360.
Okay.
This was the second series of X360, and it was also refurbished and way lowered on price. It had been out for a long time.
Okay.
Xbox
So,
One was
semi-current.
So now you're current then.
yeah. When I bought my 360, Xbox One was like in the development stage.
Okay.
Coming
They
down the
hadn't
pipeline.
they hadn't quite announced it yet, but they were working on it.
Okay. So here's a question then. When did you start PC gaming? Because see, I was PC gaming when dial-up was hitting.
Okay.
Was still. like a
I
thing.
started PC gaming in 9th grade.
Really?
Mhm.
So you were playing? Oh wow. You were playing WoW then, were you?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking 6th grade.
Because you played
Has it been
vanilla.
that long?
Dude, WoW's been out for what?
I was playing
10,
Oregon
12
Trail.
years now or something nonsense like that. I can't remember.
He
What?
was
You're
not
playing
in
Oregon
ninth-
Trail?
He was not in 9th grade 12 years ago.
No, I'm just saying. He's been playing WoW for how long?
Actually, no, that would have been senior year. Never mind.
I,
I'm older than that.
all right, do the math.
Well, the
I'm
Warcraft.
old,
Feel bad-
all right?
feel
I
bad about
forget-
your life.
I forget how
And now
old
let's
I am
continue.
sometimes.
Okay. World of Warcraft, September 2nd, 2001. The game was released in 2004.
I didn't start playing World of Warcraft until
16 years.
07 or 08. My first, okay, if you don't count like Oregon Trail,
It's actually technically 20 because they were announced.
if you want to count like PC gaming where it was like online too and they were actually gaming
was
online.
was it WoW?
No, it wasn't. My first love was 2004. I played City of Heroes.
Oh, I remember you were all about that.
Okay.
Oh, I love
Back when we
that
had our
game.
first internet show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know about that?
No.
Me and Matt used to have a live
I
internet
think we
show.
mentioned it on one of the podcasts.
Maybe.
I probably blocked it out because I can't imagine you guys doing something without me being a part of it.
Aww.
We love you too, Stuart.
Oh, that wasn't like because I love you guys. That was like
It wouldn't be successful.
That was a narcissistic statement.
I know. By
no,
the way,
we
just to
did.
gratify your own,
Ego,
narcissism.
super id, super ego.
It totally was not successful.
There you go. Well,
It was
obviously you're
pretty
not skilled.
successful.
It
We had front
eventually
page. We had
collapsed.
like 10, 15,000 people watch us a few times, remember?
We did make front page a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long time ago, we'll segue off this just for a moment. A long time ago, God, what is this like? This like 15 years ago or some nonsense?
Yes.
I was a freshman.
Stickum was a website.
Stickum was a website.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you remember Stickum?
Yes, I do.
We
I had
were
a-
on Stickum.
I had a friend who had all connections to Stickum in every way, and he did a lot of live shows, doing singing and all this stuff like that. And me and Matt, I don't even remember how we decided to start it, but we decided, hey, we're gonna do a show. What should we call it? Friday Night S&M.
Because Steve and Matt. Yeah. We got a lot of people.
We got a lot of
We
people.
got a lot of
showed up.
people for the wrong
I
reasons.
feel like a lot of people were viewing that, hoping for something else.
Yes. But the thing
Also,
is.
you guys were under 18.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
man, how did you not get shut down by the FBI?
Okay. But here's the thing. A lot of those people who hopped on expecting something else. Yes, some of them left because it wasn't what they expected. But a lot of them were like,
this is ridiculously awesome.
All right, I gotta see where this goes.
Yeah, and basically what we were just like the most random.
He dressed up as like skater. He wore the tattered jeans, the chucks, and everything. I would go suit and tie.
Yeah, it was like polar opposite worlds, and we would just do.
Yes.
Like what was it? It was FAQ, frequently asked questions.
FAQ. So people would type in questions and we'd answer them.
And then it was the
news you didn't know existed and probably didn't want to.
Yeah, and it was just like we would both find the most like ridiculous stories around the world.
Okay, The Adventures of Florida Man. That's the kind of stuff that we would find and put on there.
All right.
Yeah, it was awesome. And a few times, we had like 15,000 people watching us because we got front page.
We made front page.
I had a friend. All I had to say was like, "Hey man, we're gonna go live." He's like, "I got you," and he would make a call to them and say, "Hey, front page these guys," and people would just eat it up.
That's cool.
And we did it at his house with like a crappy black background with a bunch of like room lamps, and then his mom. Mom hated it.
I know.
So much.
His mom was a photographer, so we'd use her like background equipment,
for like photo lights and stuff too.
but she wouldn't let us use the photo lights.
Yeah.
So we took like the shades off the lamps and tried to angle.
We did so much like DIY. And it worked out pretty good. We never had like microphones. We just used the webcam mic.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was all bad.
It was all bad. It was 23 bad. It was bad. But the show was awesome, and it was actually kind of successful on that website. And then Stickum shut down.
Yeah.
And then we collapsed.
Yeah. So and now we're here.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
But this was like 15 years ago.
Another foray into our nerddom from our youth.
Stickum. Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
But so yeah, I had mentioned that my dad was the guy that got me into like complete nerd culture. My dad I watched Aliens with my dad. I watched Terminator.
You mentioned just
Blade
last
Runner.
podcast your dad was the guy who let you play Metal Gear, like bought you Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Said, here, play this at 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. Yeah, he bought me
An
Metal Gear.
8-year-old. Yeah, here, play this.
Yeah, and I played Metal Gear Solid and
Sniping dudes' heads
it's just
off.
kind of like how I said that I thought it was really weird that my dad had brought a PlayStation 1 into the house. You know, that however long the PlayStation 1 I can't remember how long it's been. 20 years or something like that.
Yeah, something like
And
that.
then 20 years later, I was taking my dad to the PlayStation experience. Like
And bought him a
then
PS4
bought
for
him
his
a
birthday.
PS4 for
Or
Christmas.
yeah.
And like I just thought that was interesting that he did all that back then, and then I'm doing it. And it was crazy. And
It's parody. You can't sue us.
Especially because I think the lyrics right.
no, nobody ever does.
I have no idea what they're saying.
I don't either.
It's
Does
probably
anyone?
Swahili for the circle of life.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
All right.
I will Google that. Continue talking.
So
So interesting.
yeah, I remember being a kid, and actually, I have a very interesting story about video gaming.
All right. Well, we'll be the judge of that.
No, it's pretty interesting actually.
We'll be the judge of that.
So my dad got an NES when it first came out, and then through the years he got a Sega and stuff like that. You know, just like then I had a Super Nintendo. Like whenever the console came out, I was fortunate enough to have it because my dad was playing games before like I was even a thing. You know, because he would go to the arcade. He's still like one of the best Tempest players ever. He's incredible. Track and field.
Funny.
He would tell me stories about playing track and field in the arcade, and he'd do the pencil maneuver.
Yeah.
Or he would tap he was crazy.
That's funny.
Pac-Man, all that stuff. Dig Dug. He went ham on it all the time. So he bought an NES, and then introduced me to like I didn't understand, so I was just playing like Duck Hunt and stuff. And then it evolved over time into like the Genesis and all this. Well, the story is that when I was younger, I had a hard time learning how to read. I really did when I was in school, and my dad would always put a code in for us, and it was the Konami code.
Nice.
That, you know, I didn't know the code, couldn't memorize the code, so I'd always ask my dad to put the codes in.
Write it on a napkin, like they did in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. We had a Nintendo Powers and all that stuff that had codes in it and all that stuff. And I remember he got so fed up with every time I had to play the game, he handed me the magazine. Was like, "You find it, you figure out how to do it." In like the 4th grade, I was reading at a college level because of that stupid Nintendo Power. Nintendo Power taught me how to read. And
Nice.
in 4th grade, they tested me, and I was reading at a college level. And it's because I understood where like
The
things
articles
went
written for
and, like,
adults.
the structure of everything, plus like the symbolism of everything. Like my brain just got it, and
And it was the only
it
time.
was like everything just clicked, and I was able to read anything.
See,
anything.
I was
It was crazy.
My parents would take me to the library, and they'd be like, pick out, I would get like 2 books like every week. And it was like I started out like, Boxcar Kids and like and Goosebumps and things like that. And then I moved
The good stuff.
and then I moved from there into like Tolkien and
Yeah.
things like that. And so that was like my first reading Tolkien when I was I think like 8 was the first time I read The Hobbit.
Wow.
And that was it. I was
That
done.
was a gnarly book to read at 8.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Because I read it so many times because I was like, this is good, but I don't know why.
Right.
Like I don't understand.
All you knew that it was awesome.
I don't understand a lot of this because of the prose and like it's all very elevated reading style.
But what you did know was like awesome.
yeah, I loved
Yeah.
it. And so that was
So I did that, and then it was just kind of like video games is how I learned about so many nerd things. It's how I learned about Power Rangers. It's how I learned about. It's how I learned about
Ready for the reboot?
the Avengers.
eh,
No.
eh.
I am, but no.
Wow.
I mean, you know me. I love the Power Rangers. I'm a big Power Ranger fan, but I don't know how I feel about it quite yet.
Really?
I'm
Because
gonna-
when we were watching the trailer, you were super
I
excited.
keep watching more trailers that come out, and more
Yeah.
information about it.
You're
and
getting worried.
still- yeah, a little bit.
You're getting worried.
little
Like-
worried. Like it's
Transformers worried or
like TMNT worried.
Oh,
so terrible.
Dude.
Yeah.
Can
Little
someone
bit.
please stop letting Michael Bay remake things from my childhood?
Right.
I'm sorry.
He
can
doesn't do a good job.
Someone stop letting Michael Bay make
Breathe.
things. Period.
Breathe.
The end.
But I really am. Like, the more and more I see it, the more ridiculous I see in it, more so than like when I understand Power Rangers is ridiculous, but at the same time, I look at it as how ridiculous is this going to be?
It was
I
pretty
feel
campy.
like the show's already ridiculous. Everythting sparks.
I remember an
Like,
episode
they
when
hit
a
him,
frog
everything
ate them.
explodes. They flip
remember
over
that.
a desk. The classroom explodes. Like
Yeah.
whatever. It's ridiculous and campy and awesome. But like for a movie, I feel like I have to realize it's going to be ridiculous in a lot of ways. Already the premise is ridiculous,
Yeah.
but
Do they fight Ultron?
I don't know how if they do Megazord or anything like that, any of the Zords, I don't know how it's gonna be. I love Bryan Cranston I love that he's in it.
Yeah.
I just
He lends
I
it
don't
credibility.
I don't like.
just him being in it.
I'm a little upset with how they did Alpha. I don't know why they went that route with Alpha.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's the
I don't-
robot, the little robot.
I know who
inside.
Alpha is. I don't know what you're referencing in the new trailer. I guess I haven't seen
And
that
it
one.
doesn't. It's not Alpha. It's just like something completely off the wall. It is
So
like
they call
it's
it Alpha, but it doesn't look like Alpha.
Not even close.
It doesn't look like a
Not even close.
short man in a robot
Not even
suit
close.
like Danger Will Robinson.
Not even close.
I mean, I guess
So
that's
it's
kind of
just
a good
and I
thing.
understand it's like we got to revamp it. We got to whatever.
Yeah.
And then I just don't know how I feel about how Rita is.
Really?
I just I don't.
Eh.
Don't get me wrong. I love who's playing Rita, but
Who is it?
it's what's her name? She's in Knocked Up. Who's the girl in Knocked Up?
Really?
Who what's her name? Damn it.
Katherine Heigl?
Am I thinking the wrong movie? I'm sorry.
Katherine Heigl is,
No, I'm sorry.
is
It's
the one in Knocked Up.
I don't know. He looked at me like I knew it. And
I'm
I'm like,
sorry.
I got nothing.
I totally threw that wrong. It's
I'm assuming you're talking about the main one that gets knocked up, which is Katherine Heigl.
no. I'm
No, he said
sorry.
the wrong movie. It's not Knocked Up.
I'm probably just gonna get completely
Sidelined.
completely
here.
destroyed on the on the podcast for this.
How are you gonna get destroyed?
And just everybody
You
I
get,
know is
you
going
get
to
nasty comments.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, you guys do. I don't.
Wait, they actually write comments about me?
Sometimes.
That's an improvement over the nasty ones. Just
I'm
getting
sorry.
comments at all.
You're gonna probably crucify me for saying when
Probably.
I say it's Elizabeth Banks.
Was she even in Knocked Up?
I thought she was.
No.
For some reason, I'm probably thinking of the wrong movie.
I was gonna say because Katherine Heigl has become. I don't know if you know this, but she's become like persona non grata as far as like Hollywood is concerned.
Does she not agree with the Screen Actors Guild?
No, it's worse than that. Oh no, Hollywood has just given her an X. like we will not work with her anymore.
Wow.
Because her mom is her manager, and I guess her mom is like the worst person ever to be on set with.
I'm thinking
She's like a controlling like freak.
Gotcha.
But it's weird because Katherine Heigl is an adult.
Yeah.
She's like an overbearing like mom, like, oh, this
Yeah.
needs to be, and she just like people will not work with her anymore because of her mom.
I said knocked up I was thinking of the scene and everything is 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
gotcha.
That's interesting.
It's kind of the same kind of witty crap comedy,
Yeah.
stupid,
Yeah.
I got them mixed up. I
Judd
apologize.
Apatow.
But yeah, Elizabeth Banks plays Rita. I still don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about her character. I don't know. The more I watch it, the more worried I get.
Have they shown Zordon at all?
Yeah.
How's that?
Bryan Cranston plays him.
I know he does the voice, but
It's pretty good.
Visually,
It's actually pretty good.
does it look like?
It's very similar.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty cool, actually. So I don't have much to complain about that. I feel the suits are a little ridiculous. Actually, I feel that they're very ridiculous.
The suits were like
They always
were ridiculous.
But I don't know. I watched the TV show and I'm like, those are rad. But then I watch this and I'm like,
It's just like
You
spandex.
were 8.
I'm 28 now and I still think they're rad.
There's just spandex.
You act like
It's
you're
not
8.
even those actors in the suits.
Fair enough.
It's the actors from the Japanese version of the show.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That ruined me when I found that out.
But yeah, so no, video
Wait,
games
what?
got me.
No, I'm kidding. The look on your face, though.
Video games did get me into a lot of that stuff. The Avengers, I had the Avengers. I didn't know about that stuff really. Like I knew what superheroes were, but I didn't really like know too many superheroes. So
Yeah.
You knew the big ones.
yeah, so my dad would get stuff like
yeah,
that.
the X-Men. They've
Batman,
got
like-
Wolverine and
Yeah,
Storm.
they got would get me like Batman Forever game. Oh God, so bad.
It was so
It was so terrible. But like that's how I
So was
learned.
the movie.
Yeah, that's how I learned about villains and the just who was connected in the Batman universe, stuff like that. And that really got, and even like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I had Turtles in Time. Like,
I love
incredible.
I love the Corey Feldman ones.
yeah,
Those are fantastic.
So my dad getting me into video games early on, kind of spiraled. It literally spiraled out of control, and I just started getting into all these different things when it came to movies and books and because like I said, I was playing those games, but then like my dad, I was also watching those like critically acclaimed like nerd films, like sci-fi films, Blade Runner, stuff like that.
I mean, my dad was the one who showed me Star Wars the first time, and I was like 6. I was in kindergarten when I saw Star Wars the first time, and he liked Star Wars, but he wasn't like how we are about Star Wars, like because I know we take it to like an almost unhealthy level. Yeah, I know
An unhealthy level.
almost.
It's very healthy.
I mean, and like Star Wars is such a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
I'm
Like-
sorry. Jedi is an official religion.
Yeah,
It
those
is.
people are weird, but
Let's not get
Yeah. Very weird.
yeah, bye. No, but what I mean is that I think more because I was also raised in a religious house, but I feel like I got more morality lessons from Star Wars and Tolkien than I did from like the Bible. Like I feel like just me personally, at least, like I learned about good versus evil and that hero's journey and all that stuff from Tolkien and from Star Wars and from things like that.
No,
So
that makes sense.
that's what I
because-
mean. That it's a big.
A lot
part
of those
my life.
movies
Because Star
had a
Wars
lot of
taught
that
you
stuff
things
in
like
it.
that, and you just mentioned earlier in this podcast that Jesus taught you things like don't call a girl back for 3 days.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
My God.
It's worked so far for me.
Jeez.
Yes.
All right, so
But yeah, so
don't stand next to us outside.
Yeah, that's fine.
Here comes the lightning.
But yeah, so that's basically where it all came from. Now, as far as what I would like incredibly like nerddom, like really fanboy.
Can I jump
stuff
on this
would
real
be-
quick before you get too far away?
What's that? I'm not getting too far off.
I'm actually going to agree with you on that. Like you said that your dad got you into the video games and then he was watching those movies and that's what got you into things like the Avengers and the comics and the heroes and villains. My first introduction into like real, I guess you'd call it quote nerddom, the what we call nerddom now anyway, was my uncle introducing me to D&D.
Oh yeah, you
And
mentioned
even now, like my first favorite games, I loved City of Heroes. That was one of my first favorite
that was
online
your
games.
jam back then.
I played World of Warcraft. I played Warcraft, Frozen Throne. I played StarCraft. I loved Warcraft because you got to be like, you had the heroes or whatever. I am a huge fan of Mass Effect. I cannot wait for the next one coming out. But the more I think about it, as you were just talking, all of my favorite games are RPGs.
Yeah,
they're adventure stories where you're playing as a protagonist, D&D. And that's D&D. You are a character. You go out on an adventure.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah. It's that 8-year-old wish fulfillment to be the hero of your own story.
Yeah,
yeah. And even if it's not my own story, I loved playing. I still have to return that to you. I have to still beat it too. Uncharted. Yeah. You don't make your own character. You just play as Nathan Drake. But you're on an adventure. Kicking butt, chewing bubblegum. Oh, no bubblegum.
Yeah.
That movie or that game. Duke Nukem, dude, just so ridiculous.
It really is.
But I agree with you because like that. I remember playing Pokemon as a kid and being like, "This is me."
Yes.
Like, this is. Me.
I saved up my allowance to buy a Game Boy and buy Pokemon Red.
Yeah, that was like, I don't know, because
the old gray brick.
I remember because I remember playing that game and being like, you get to put your name in. And I put my name and I was like, this is me. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But, yeah, it's just.
And then that sequel where you go up on Mount Silver and there's Red with his like level 89 Pikachu. I'm like, oh, that's how you do a sequel. That blew my mind as a kid.
All these things, they all, I think psychologically, they come from the same place. Like, we all have that desire to be the hero and to save the damsel and to fight the bad guys and destroy evil. It's all wish fulfillment, and I think that's why
my desire is to kill you all, but I'm the GM.
now your desire is to kill us all.
But you get what I mean.
That's true, because when I was the monk, I was like, gotta save the day.
Yeah. So
now that's all off the table.
Nope.
And I think I think that's why like so. And I think that's why, like, you can find that essence in everything, like in all the video games and comics and like movies that like so many people like flock to. Yeah. Is that same wish fulfillment.
Oh yeah,
and that's why Keanu Reeves is such a great actor.
Whoa. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
Let me make my argument.
No, I'm going to agree with you.
Keanu Reeves is probably the best action star ever.
Really?
Ever.
All right.
He's the best action
John Wick is amazing.
Star ever.
But give me why.
Here's why.
Go with it.
Because
I'm
with
ready.
The majority of action actors, you have a lot of visual emotional cues. So it's something that we do without realizing. Like, okay, he's furrowing his brows, so he's angry, and now
you were mentioning this last week or a couple weeks ago, how like in Spider-Man the mask would be getting blown in strategic ways so you could see the face.
Yes, yeah, because visual expressions is such like a large part of how we enjoy movies. That's why silent films were popular, even without dialogue. Like, they were popular because we read more emotions and we get more visual cues from facial expressions than content of words. So with Keanu Reeves, he is, and I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but he's 90% of the time blank-faced. So when we as an audience watch Keanu Reeves in like an action scene or like in an action movie, we transpose our own emotions onto this blank face. And that's how we, emotionally connect with the situation and with the other characters that he's with. So that's why, like, because people still don't understand, like, because at its basis, The Matrix is a complete ripoff. It's a complete ripoff of the comic that came before it, and I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the comic. But every major plot point of The Matrix was just taken from a comic. But the reason it was so successful is because Keanu Reeves is the perfect straw man. His blank, like, emotionless face when he's going against everything allows us to put ourselves in his place and provide that kind of wish fulfillment.
So what does that say about Kristen Stewart?
Here's the thing. Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart are not bad actors. Kristen Stewart is the only American actress to win Best Actress in the I can't remember the name of it, but France has its own version of the Oscars.
Oh yeah,
And she won it for and I can't think of the movie, but she's the only American actress ever to win Best Actress, and it was for another movie.
out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this.
No, yeah, she did.
She's the only one she's the only American actress
never knew
ever to
this.
win it.
Really?
And you got to think of all the great female actresses and all the great roles.
It makes me
they've
think,
played.
who was she up against?
She was up against a lot of really.
Okay, even
it doesn't
even-
matter, but it just
Was
Even
it
if
like
sh-
Meryl Streep,
yeah.
who I'm not really a fan of?
Even if it's not, think of it this way: you're going up against some French actresses in a
Yeah.
French Oscars.
Yeah.
I don't mean to
Truth.
be offensive or anything, but people are very petty sometimes. There will be
How
a lot
many-
of
let
people
me
who
put it-
would say no to her just because she's American.
Well, put it this way: how many French movies have won Best Picture at the Oscars?
Yeah, and here,
Yeah, truth.
none.
I can only think of one non-U.S. movie that won Best Picture. And that was Life is Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Name another non-American movie.
I mean, you see tons
won
get
Best
nominated,
Picture.
but no one ever wins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
It's kind
the
of like
fact-
action movies. You never see them in the Oscars.
yeah,
You never see a Jackie Chan film in an Oscar,
Yeah, and that's
which sucks because there's some good.
there
martial
are,
arts
but
films out
the
there.
Oscars they pretend
Wait,
to be.
didn't Crouching Tiger get something?
It probably got
They were
nominated.
nominated,
Oh,
but they did not win Best
and it
Picture.
probably wasn't Best Picture it got nominated for. It probably got nominated for
they
a
won
score.
best. They won Best Choreography,
I was gonna say
That
that was
makes
some
sense,
They
yeah.
won Best
legit
Choreography.
choreography.
but
Or like the girl with the dragon tattoo. Was that?
the American version,
Yeah.
well,
No. The
the Swedish
the
version
Swedish
was not
version.
nominated.
was it?
No.
Oh, okay.
So
So much more I know.
my point being
but that's
is that
proof then, because I don't know.
this is
I
the
don't know.
difference. Well, here's the thing: if you have actors and actresses who don't want to be in the movie because they hate it, then you're gonna have bad acting in the movie.
True.
And Robert Pattinson has famously said how much he hates those movies and he hates the
Oh,
fans
Twilight?
of those movies.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen him do an
Yeah,
interview.
yeah.
He
I
was
mean-
doing an interview for Water for Elephants, the movie he was in, which was a good movie, and he's a good actor. But they asked him like, "Oh, what do you think about?"
How'd your role in Twilight
Yeah,
help shape you
he's
for
like,
this?
Yeah,
it
and he
didn't.
did not like
He's
it.
like, "Well, then why did you sign up to do Twilight?" He's like, "I needed money."
Yeah.
So, and they're just terrible movies.
Yeah, they are.
They're terrible
look
movies
at
and
it-
they're terrible
Look at it this
books.
way: Ben Affleck, is he a terrible actor?
No.
No,
I actually don't think Ben Affleck's that bad of an actor.
I liked him in the newest Batman vs Superman. I didn't really like the movie, but I liked him as Batman. I even liked him as Daredevil. But that movie was absolute garbage.
Yeah, the script was terrible.
yeah.
We
Agreed.
talked. The thing is, though, is that they could have made a sequel to that Daredevil movie,
Thank
and
God
it
they
probably no. Because
Elektra.
here's why.
Elektra.
No, a Daredevil movie.
Like a Daredevil 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's why. Because the
Double Dare.
comic line, the comic story,
Good show. Good show. Double Dare 2000.
the comic
Family
storyline
Double Dare.
that they're following in the Daredevil movie is one of the darkest storylines in any comic I've ever read.
Oh, yeah. It's messed up.
So do you know what happens after?
After the movie?
Yeah.
With that plot line? No.
Yes. Okay. So in this plot line, Daredevil, because just fast forward to the end of the movie, he takes off his mask to Kingpin. And he's like, "I'm Matt Murdock," blah blah blah, and he reveals himself. So in the comic books, he does that
Blind
too.
lawyer.
Yeah, and in the comic books, he does that too.
Yeah.
So Kingpin goes to jail, and
Rest
what
in
does
peace,
Kingpin
that
do
guy's
from
great.
jail? He puts out a hit on Matt Murdock and Foggy and the priest and his
Everyone
secretary.
he's ever loved.
Yes. So he goes and he kills every single person that Matt Murdock loves and then blows up his office. So then we see a shot of Matt Murdock at a telephone booth and he's talking on the phone to someone and we think it's his mom. And he's telling him, I don't know what to do. I don't think I can, deal with this anymore. I think I'm going to do something terrible. And then, he drops the phone, and then it, zooms in on the receiver, and it's, the person you have called cannot be, and it's like he's basically talking to empty air. So then the next scene is
Oh crap!
him in Bullseye's hospital room,
Oh.
and he's got a gun, and he starts playing Russian roulette with Bullseye, like bullet loaded, playing.
And Bullseye can't do anything.
Yeah, because he can't. He was still messed up from when
Full body cash, just
Yes.
hanging there waiting for either one of them to lose.
Literally, he scares Bullseye so much he literally defecates on himself. Like that's the storyline.
Really?
Yeah, and then Matt Murdock goes to prison and he kills Kingpin. So if they had made a sequel to that, it would have been awesome.
Insane.
Because it's a very dark movie.
Yeah.
And they did that more with, because I think the problem was that they tried to make Daredevil comics are inherently dark. Like they're very depressing.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of the
Is it because he
Daredevil
can't
comics.
see?
Yes, because he can't see. That's why it's dark.
Sorry,
And the Netflix series
I had to sneak one in.
reflected that. You know, that's why the Netflix series was so much darker. Like people are like, "Oh, it's so much darker than the movie," and it's because no, the movie got it wrong. The movie made it too happy, and that was the problem.
I think it might have been that era too.
That early 2000s, like
Yeah.
well, then don't make a comic about like a brooding guy who's out for vengeance, like
Truth.
Well, look at what they did with Batman and Robin.
But Batman has a history of being campy. Golden Age Batman was campy. Daredevil was never campy.
Golden Age Batman.
Golden Age Batman was also brutal and
Golden Age
terrible.
Batman hung a dude.
Golden Age Batman also, I guess we're going to do this. Golden Age Batman also at one point found his parents' killers, and he was going to get, he thought Superman was his parents' killers for some reason.
Superman.
He thought Superboy was his
Superboy?
Yeah, because Superman was Superboy originally in this comic line. So Batman thought,
He hadn't grown up yet.
Superboy comics.
I know.
Yeah, that was like, and so there was a crossover
Yeah,
between.
puberty.
Hey, out of curiosity, did Superboy become as swift as a coursing river?
Yes, he did.
He had
All
the force of a great typhoon?
with all the strength of a great typhoon.
Oh, yeah, okay. Mysterious as the dark side of the moon.
Yes.
All right, so that's how he became Superman.
Anyways,
Got it.
So for some
Good
reason,
one,
He
Matt.
was losing it.
for some reason, Batman thinks that Superboy.
You remember? When you play Rocket League? The move. Put it into context, Matt. Sorry.
Super fast segue. Steve and I played Rocket League. Every time we'd score a goal that was very, very for sure we got away from them because they made a mistake and we would score the goal, I would yell, into the mic, "Be a man." And then Steve would be like, "The moon," as the ball goes flying into the goal.
And like the replay you'd have like a few seconds to do something after the goal, and you would make it into the replay. So as the replay would happen, he would just be like, you would just see me shoot by the moon like through the camera, the replay camera. Oh, we used to laugh for so much playing that game.
Good times, good times. All right, back to you, Stuart.
So,
All right,
Superboy.
can I?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. For
Can you be a
some
man?
reason, I'm gonna throw this bottle at your face.
Drink it first. Don't waste beer.
Nope.
We don't waste.
So for some reason, young Bruce Wayne thinks that Superboy killed his parents. I don't know why, because he saw his parents get shot. It doesn't make any sense. But for this storyline, as an adult, Bruce Wayne as Batman finally decides to get his revenge
Serious question?
on Superman. I doubt it.
Actually, serious question.
Okay.
They called him Superboy in the
Yep.
Golden Age of comics. Did
Yep.
they ever have a stage where they called like young Bruce Wayne Batboy?
No, because he was never a crime fighter. Okay, so Superman
was not in
comics
the
came
Globe.
out originally, and then later they decided to do the Adventures of Superboy
When he was earlier.
for younger comic readers.
Nobody
Okay.
got that one.
That's why.
Okay.
I got it. I just chose to ignore it.
I don't think Matt heard it.
Like, serious question.
Yeah,
I didn't know if they had a
So-
Batboy.
I made a joke
Nope.
about Batboy.
His name is Robin.
The Weekly World News.
I was like,
I know.
I was like, no, he did not make it.
I'm never going to get through this.
Anyway, it's the Batboy.
Batman thinks that Superboy killed his parents.
And
Yeah.
as an
For
adult,
whatever reason, because he totally watched them get gunned down in an alley
Yes.
after leaving the theater.
yes.
Right.
So as an adult, it doesn't matter, Chad. It doesn't matter.
Chad, where do they perform operas? Thank
There
you.
you go.
Continue.
All right. That was your one.
Stuart, continue.
So he finally decides as an adult, like, to get his revenge on Superman. And he shares this plan with Robin. And Robin's like, no, you can't do that. And that's where we get the famous Batman slapping Robin meme is from that comic.
Okay.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, so Batman slaps Robin. Like, I make the rules around here, you orphan. So, once
he say
again,
that?
yeah, he calls him an orphan.
What a jerk.
So, Batman uses
Batman's a jerk.
Batman uses his memory wipe machine, which we've never seen before and never see again, to wipe Robin's memories, Dick Grayson, that he was ever Robin, that he ever lived with Batman or was adopted by Bruce Wayne, and he returns him to an orphanage.
What?
Yes.
Dude.
Just so he can go kill
Batman's
Superboy.
Just so he
jerk.
can go kill Superman.
Batman's a prick.
Yeah, also he beat a child
And wiped his memory.
and wiped his memory. So he returns.
To be fair, at least he just wiped his memory and threw him back in an orphanage as opposed to hideously, grotesquely deforming him and throwing him at Hollywood.
That's true. Superman also put Supergirl into an orphanage. Because
Batman's a jerk.
Supergirl put his niece, Kara,
She's a jerk
into
too.
an orphanage for no reason.
Is this Golden Age?
Yeah.
What a jerk.
He put her into an orphanage because he didn't want to take care of her. No. His logic was he wanted her to learn more about like living as a human, like so she could
And
acclimate
the best
to
way
like
to do that is to live around other humans.
yeah. So instead of like, oh, you can live with John and Martha Kent, my parents who raised me. Nah, you're going in an orphanage. And they like fly to an orphanage, and he just like see you later and flies off.
What a jerk.
Yeah. They're
They're
all
all
terrible. They were all
That
terrible.
was their way of like removing characters. Put them in an orphanage.
So those were the comics that
That's
I read as a child.
ridiculous.
From my grandpa was the Golden Age Batman and Superman.
So that explains a lot.
Yeah, I'd been
You
dropping.
learned to behave because you were like, nah, I ain't going to an orphanage.
Batman's hanging
My
people.
grandpa's-
Why can't I?
My grandpa's going to drop me off at an orphanage. Nope, I'm behaving. I don't want to get slapped and have my memory wiped.
That's a possibility.
Just thinking everybody had a memory wipe machine.
Yeah, and he never.
Do you know?
It's
Stick your hand
never.
in the
It was
microwave,
never.
turn it on for a little bit. It might do some damage.
It was never seen before and never seen after. Because if you had a memory wipe machine, why wouldn't you? I don't know. Strap the Joker into it and wipe his memory of him being the Joker.
Nah. Truth.
Oh, and here's a fun thing. It's not just DC that's filled with horrible people doing horrible things to other people. Professor X.
Yeah, Stanley, you're not exempt.
Oh.
Professor X.
Yeah, I
has-
know this one.
He's just like one of the worst
He's
characters.
a pedophile.
He was. In the
He's a
original
pedophile.
X-Men comic books, Jean Grey is only 15, and she's a student at the Xavier School for Gifted Children. And at one point, for some reason, Professor X has like thoughts about Jean Grey, like, oh, if only she was older, I would make her
Yep.
my woman, because he's jealous of her relationship with Cyclops. So, I mean, think about that for a second. He knows, and he's thinking that when she's in the room with him.
Yeah. And she can read
He's
minds.
a telepath. He knows she can read his mind, and he's still like projecting that thought at her.
Yeah. So she knew.
Yeah.
She knew.
So Professor X is a pervert. That's not counting the
Yeah.
time that Professor X like took Magneto and rewrote his entire memories. So he like wiped out the memories of him being like a Holocaust survivor and replaced them with like, oh, he had a happy life.
Yeah. I remember that. I was in
and
X-Men.
he made him a social worker for orphans, and he like brought
Orphans again.
yeah, so he brought he brought, I forget which X-Men.
If you weren't an orphan, you worked.
Yeah, he brought one of the X-Men to like see him, and he like sees him like playing with like inner city kids, and like Charles Magnuson is like, oh, don't I know you? To Professor X? It's like, oh no, I don't think we've met. And then like the last panel is like the X-Men behind him, just like, whoa, that's not. You can't just wipe someone's memory of who they are. Like that's not right. Professor X just like, yeah, I can. Like he just does not care.
He just doesn't care.
No, at all.
Yeah.
So there's
Xavier's yeah.
So that's what got me into comics. Was great stories like that.
Gosh.
Also, Conan the Barbarian, because he had a bunch of.
Oh god, don't talk to me
Hyborian.
about Conan right now.
Okay.
Have you seen all the stuff coming out for Age of Conan?
The game.
Yeah.
Speaking
No.
of Conan,
You can just full on naked, balls out character in that game. And
I mean,
it's
have
just
you read
like-
the books?
I understand, but it's just like
Here's the thing.
The game.
I know,
Just look it up. It's just like full. You can like change the size of your manhood,
yeah.
like, and play an MMO.
And you know what?
It's
Having
like,
read those
really?
books at a young age, that fits in that universe.
It does, but at the same time, it's like, well, okay then. Like, I play Ark where they throw you nowhere, and you're naked, and you don't even see none of that stuff.
Yeah.
But Conan, change the size of your manhood.
okay. Speaking
I mean,
of
that's
Conan,
the universe. Like
Speaking
it's
of
all
Conan.
horrible.
and going back to Nerdom,
Okay.
my uncle got me into a lot of. He collects bad movies. I don't know if you ever know that this movie existed.
Beastmaster.
Probably.
Oh.
I don't know of it. I know a few of them here and there. that he
Hercules, the
collects.
TV shows
Ugh.
with
Oh.
Fabio,
No, that
whoever
was-
that was.
No, it wasn't. Young Hercules?
No, Hercules.
Oh,
The one with
Get your sword!
Fonzie or Fabio, whoever it was.
that was
played
not
him.
Fabio.
Whoever played him.
That was
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about.
I
though.
know, but it's not Fabio.
That show was terrible.
But
Yeah.
he collects horrible movies.
Young Hercules was Ryan Gosling though.
Yes, it was.
So that was good. I watched that.
Not sure if you know of it. If you don't, YouTube it. It's only like 25 minutes or whatever. You'll thank me later that you've completely wasted 25 minutes of your life that you will never get back. You can do a shorter version. Steve has shown me JonTron. JonTron does a cover, like
I
he
love
does a
JonTron.
review of this incredible.
John Trump, come on our show.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
JonTron, be our show, please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be our show. Pick us up.
Make us better.
Yeah, seriously. But Birdemic.
Birdemic 2.
I know that.
Yes, that's the kind of stuff that my uncle likes to collect.
I thought, is that the movie?
Yeah.
It
No,
is
it's not the one I'm talking about. But
Oh,
that's
okay.
the one that he likes to
Oh,
collect.
my
He
gosh.
got me a video that Weird Al made called UHF. If you've never seen
Yes.
it, one of the
I have.
in the montage session in the middle of the movie or whatever, they're showing that they've gotten better at being the TV show, and they've got commercials for different shows and da 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 da. And one of the ones was a commercial for a movie they were going to air later during prime time or whatever, and it was Conan the Librarian. this like kid comes walking up, hey, I'm going to return these books. I'm sorry, they're like a couple days late. Just chops his head off. Some other guy comes up, it's like, do you have a book on this? Don't you know the Dewey Decimal System? Just chops him in half.
What?
Nice.
I'm going to look this up.
The best one, though,
That's
is,
amazing.
The best one is right after Conan the Librarian. They show a preview for.
I'm sorry.
That's pretty funny.
It is.
It is really funny.
It is
Conan
great.
the
But right after
Librarian.
that, they show a preview, and it's, he's back, and this time he's mad. No more passive aggressive. He's here to kick some butt. And you've got this little Indian guy in an orange, robe, and he just comes in. Gandhi 2.
Oh, no.
He like punches straight through a guy, bashes another guy's head into the car. He's at the table with two girls in a restaurant. He's like, good sir, what would you like? Give me a steak, make it rare. Someone busts in the room. Hey, Baldy! He flips the table over.
What?
So
Gandhi 2.
speaking
look at
speaking of
this.
I
Gandhi,
want to see that movie.
are you?
I want them to make
Did you ever
that.
play Civilization?
Yes.
Sid Meier's Civ?
Playing the new one.
Yes.
Do you know on the original one? Do you know why Gandhi is so like war hungry and aggressive?
I think we've talked about this before.
Have we?
I don't think
I'm
so.
pretty sure we have. If
Not on the
it wasn't
podcast.
On the podcast.
Not on the
but,
podcast.
Go for it.
Okay,
Go
so
with it.
when
This is
Sid
great.
Meier's,
This is
Because I know what it is, but go for it.
for anyone that's ever played Sid Meier's Civ, the original game had an error in the code. So when they made Gandhi, they gave everyone like a numerical
Starting
value.
levels.
Yeah, numerical value for all these different traits, and one of them was diplomacy and peace. So they gave Gandhi a 1, which was the lowest setting. But
As peaceful as you could be.
yeah, as peaceful as you could be. But there was a glitch. For some reason, whenever he did anything to increase his peacefulness, which he would automatically do, it would go down. But because there was no numerical value below 1, it would cycle through rotary
Yeah.
to 220. So that's why if you've ever
Genghis
played
Khan
yeah,
must
so that's
nuke
why
all.
that's why if you've ever played those games and was like, why is Gandhi so aggressive?
Why does Gandhi want to nuke the world?
Yeah, so it was originally a bug, but now they've just kind of kept it
Kept as a joke.
because it's really funny to like
Yeah.
see Gandhi like peace
Rage
talks are
out.
over. Get ready for nuclear winter.
Oh my gosh. So
But yes, I'm very excited about the ability to change the size of my
Manhood.
in
Conan.
Conan.
yeah,
So
cool.
I'll be buying that game.
So we played Pathfinder today,
We did.
We did.
and
Did we?
we did.
Or was that yesterday?
Well, it was yesterday now.
Okay. I don't know what time it is.
It's,
Time's not real.
It is 1:40 in the morning. So yeah, yesterday.
Holy pancakes.
Yeah.
Time's not real.
Time is not real.
It's not.
So we played yesterday.
We did.
We added a new person
Recruit.
and removed good old Charles,
Jim Bob.
Jimmy, Steve.
Matt
I
is
swore
no
his name
longer.
was Steve.
It's
No,
Steve. It's
it was
Frank.
Jim.
Oh, it was
Frank.
Jim? Frank?
For those of you who
I
don't
don't
know
even
who
know
we're
my
It was
talking about,
Dave.
we lost the nameless monk because now we added in a fifth.
So now,
So-
now Matt is
Just
the GM.
The game was balanced for 4 people, and we didn't have 4 at the start, so I was kind of a, what do you call it, Kilgore Trout?
Yeah, I did.
to basically,
I'm the only one who makes like literary jokes.
it was to balance combat, really, with the
And it
addition of 2
did,
more people.
sort of.
With the addition of, I think I kind of unbalanced the combat. I was pretty good. No, I know. But anyway,
Are you done touching yourself?
hang on.
Jeez.
We'll wait.
All right, we're good.
Okay.
All right.
It's gonna look weird on the video when there's just nothing happening.
It's like, hang on.
Metaphorically.
So
All right, we're good.
yeah. So now we have another person playing, and what happened? Let's see. We
Previously.
ventured out.
Previously
Pathfinder.
on Pathfinder, we left our intrepid heroes outside of town, about to enter the Lonely Barrow, home of the fallen barbarian king.
I hate everything right now.
That was really good.
Thank you.
I hate
enjoyed it.
everything.
Really?
We had to do that.
I can
have
do.
to
I
do
can do.
that.
I can do
No.
my version.
Excuse
We-
me.
No.
There's no half. There's no had. We have to do that every time. It is mandatory.
I don't
Yeah.
want to be on this podcast anymore.
Wait, hold on. Who's the Archon? Make an edict.
Yeah, we have to do that every time.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry, bro.
Done.
Those are the rules.
I don't wanna
Should
be
have
on
had a
this
higher
podcast.
charisma if you wanted to be the ruler.
Don't want to be on this podcast anymore.
You don't get to.
You know what? Fine.
New edict.
You're
you don't
out.
get to leave.
We'll get John.
JonTron, we just had an opening.
Fair.
I'm kidding. I would get out for John. You can have my chair. I've kept it warm for you, buddy.
So okay, so we ventured off.
You
Yeah.
entered the Lonely Barrow, home of the fallen barbarian king.
Yeah, we did.
It was.
Which is
Are
very.
we even going to say who the new person who joined us was, or are we just going to skip it over?
Okay, so the new person who just joined us is also here, kind of like guest starring, sort of, kind of, not really on a mic. You probably didn't hear her. She just had this nice sarcastic, yeah, thanks for us here. Her name is Joey. She's a coworker of mine and friend of Stuart's.
It's my girlfriend. You can say that.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to not say that or what.
Nobody knows who I am.
I'd let you
Or her.
Okay, so congratulations. You've heard it from Stuart. They're totally an item.
We see each other naked on a regular basis. She's not happy about that.
No.
It's a
You know
clean
what?
podcast. Don't put that image in people's heads.
I'm honestly surprised she did not throw a bag
Not
of Skittles
her,
at you.
you.
Uh,
I'm sure she's fine. You?
give the people what they want.
Give people that
Aw,
image.
dang. Just kidding. That was Patreon, guys.
That was from Patreon.
So Joey has joined us. She's Stuart's girlfriend. She is playing a
I was gonna say,
halfling
what is she
cavalier. For those of you who don't know what a cavalier is in the world of Pathfinder, they're a fighter for all intents and purposes that has traded in a lot of the abilities for feats and armor and weapon training.
You see me struggling with
I see
everything
you.
happening.
Oh, words are hard. Moving is hard. Everything is hard.
Standing. Continue.
But Cavaliers have traded in a lot of the abilities for feats and armor and weapon training for mounted combat. You guys don't see a lot of mounted combat, so I gave her one of the archetypes where she has a lot of, they call it panache points, and she can do deeds.
Mm-hmm.
So she can do really awesome things and just, kick a bunch of butt.
Yep.
And get these points back by doing also awesome things.
Yeah.
Which she did none of this past adventure. You used none of your points.
It was my first time playing. You had to explain it to me. I didn't know.
She's defending herself
Fair.
quite well.
She
Yeah.
is.
It's
Fair.
her first time. Let's
Fair.
put it out there.
You're
It's
doing-
her first
you're
time
doing
ever playing
Swimmingly.
a
would
tabletop RPG.
That's true. That's true.
So,
I did.
She was rolling high. It just
was.
wasn't high enough.
Yeah,
so we ventured into a crevasse that turned into a cave.
it was a crypt.
It was not a crevasse at
When
all.
we first went down into it, you said that there was no
A
ceiling.
barrow.
There was a ceiling
There was a
the
ceiling.
whole
Oh my
time.
gosh.
It was a crack in the side of a hill that got you
Continue.
into the barrel.
Continue.
Previously on Steve Doesn't Listen.
Continue.
But anyway, so
I'm not gonna argue this.
so
Nonsense.
they enter the barrow,
Go ahead.
and the first room they reach is full of bat swarms.
That was a gnarly bat swarm too.
There's two
It
of
was
them,
a-
actually,
No, it was a lot of bats though.
but there was two swarms.
It was a lot of bats.
It was a lot of bats. There's two swarms.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you. What are you on about?
Doesn't sound like it.
I'm not.
I'm saying
anything.
like, yeah, it was a lot of bats.
I am
Continue.
agreeing. There
This
are
is how
a
Matt feels all
boatload
the
of bats.
time.
And I said, yeah, it was a lot of bats. Move.
a boatload.
Holy Africa.
Was it a
Well, you
plethora
freaking
of
just
bats?
go. All right, it was a bunch of bats. We fought them. I threw a bomb in
It
the freaking
was
ceiling.
a plethora
and it
of bats.
exploded.
Okay, you did. You gloriously sacrificed yourself. You knew this was going to hit
not even
you,
me this time.
so you took
While
this
freaking
bomb.
Stuart's idiot character was looking at pictures on the wall the whole freaking time. Were you not doing that?
Before the combat started, yes.
And you were there the whole time during combat.
I was
Looking
last
at-
in initiative. I
freaking
went.
reading a Dr. Seuss book on the wall.
I'm the one that killed them.
Really?
To be fair, most of the bat damage was done by
Thank
him.
you.
However, most of the boss damage was done by you.
Because if
I'll
we're
give
gonna
you
play
one.
that, who took down the boss?
Me.
No, you didn't.
I did 60. I did 60 damage
Too bad.
to your 2.
I dealt the last
Well,
blow.
you did like 13.
No,
I'm
it was
sorry.
16.
I did like 60 something. To your
16
13.
total.
Okay, well,
I'm just
it's
saying.
a lot more than 2. I rounded up. I guessed. I was
Still.
only off by 3.
Still.
That was a pretty
All
good
right.
guess.
Still.
Let's just do this. I am consistently doing things while you are like
Here we go.
while you are
we
hit
go.
and miss. True or false?
I only rolled bad twice.
Actually-
True or false?
actually-
you are inconsistent in your rollings.
I'm gonna false.
We all are.
false.
I'm usually doing
Stuart.
stuff.
False.
Inconsistent in battle rolls.
He is not hit and miss. It's just miss and miss.
I'm inconsistent in my battle rolls.
I'm kidding.
I got everything else on lock.
He is pretty perceptive.
I will give you that you are perceptive.
I know more stuff about you than anybody else does.
He knows more about swords than you.
Actually, no.
we
Joey,
did roll a knowledge
Joey-
swords.
No, she has not been a part of the
She
game
did it
long enough
today.
to know.
Yeah, she did it today. She rolled
Yeah,
like a
just-
30.
But I know
Okay.
way more
For
about your
you
character
viewers,
and all your weird
for your
crap
viewing
you've done.
pleasure, we had a roll off for knowledge swords. We found out that Stuart's character knows
rolled a
so
2.
little about swords that he doesn't even know
rolled a
which
2 on
end of the
swords.
sword you are supposed to put
you
at the
hit
enemy.
You hit him with the non-pointy end, right?
You actually thought that the enemy was holding the sword the wrong way.
Oh, but I totally lied to Crystal though and succeeded at that.
Yes, you
You
did
did.
sell her.
Yeah.
You did not sell him on the BS, but you sold.
I like how like you want to talk crap about me. Who didn't even do anything in the battle today?
Shad.
Final
Yeah,
boss.
there's Shad.
Oh
Okay?
yeah.
He wants to sit there and say who's the consistent. Chad's been in this 2 battles, hasn't done anything but throw a raptor at me.
Twice.
Twice.
That happened again.
Twice.
That's so great.
Okay, the best part about this
But they
is
want to talk about my inconsistencies. Chad hasn't done anything.
the best part about this is Chad's character has rolled a critical fail on the turn of his pet raptor.
Multiple times.
Which means
multiple
that this
times.
raptor is now going to do what it normally does and jump on people by accident. But I jokingly was like, oh, it's gonna jump on Steve, and Steve was very, very upset with this. He was not happy. I was like, I'm kidding, I'm gonna roll it. So I took a D6 because there were 6 other people that it could fall on. I rolled a D6 and
You were safe on the floor.
I'm not kidding. God willed
No,
it.
I was not because I had to take an action to stand up.
God willed it. 1 in 6
Dice
chance.
gods wanted that raptor
It
on.
landed,
It landed on
Steve
me.
again.
Again. He has caused me more grief in the 2 battles we've had since he's been in this
Than
than
your
the
enemies.
entire time.
Than your enemies.
It's ridiculous.
The wolves did
Why
trick you that
come the
one time.
raptor
though.
don't ever fall on the enemy? Why does it always land on me?
There is a statistical chance that it would.
Close.
The boss was right next to me.
Okay, it likes you. I don't know.
It was right next to me.
You know what's funny is I have a running joke that I'm gonna cast. One of the spells I have is Unnatural Lust.
Unnatural Lust.
And like the running joke is that like I cast Unnatural Lust on the raptor, so it's just enamored with Steve's character. And it's a joke, but it's actually like turning out to be really accurate
It's pretty funny.
because it's just it's really like into you.
Hey, by the way, I just want to point this out. Later on in your wizarding career, you will learn a spell called Permanency.
Ooh.
This allows you to take lower level spells that have a time limit frame and make them permanent.
I hate you. I hate both of you right now.
You're welcome.
Don't take that crappy spell. I'm not crafting anything for you then.
Ooh.
No scope for you.
Oh.
Wait. Okay, that's your opportunity. And you missed the no scope.
No
joke.
scope 360.
Too late.
420 blaze it.
XX swags for Jesus.
You do any more crap like that, I am not crafting you a scope.
All right, fine. I'm gonna do it so he doesn't see it.
I'm not gonna craft him one.
Nope, you don't know it. Out of character.
just
No
heard it.
metagaming.
I just heard
No
it.
metagaming.
And then
I'm not crafting
Steve's,
No metagaming.
Steve's going,
I'm not crafting
I'm
him a
not
scope.
going to do it, so he's not going to see it. Get it? It's a scope joke.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyway,
Our
I'm
intrepid
so
heroes
sick of
non
it.
sequitur.
So
crashed
sick
through
of
the
it.
barrow, disrupted a bunch of undead. My wife, the paladin, got to be extremely happy
Oh
because
my
there was
gosh.
a giant wave of skeletons.
She was MVP tonight.
They were all
last night.
very, very weak. They would have died very easily, but she was able to just walk up and decide, you know what? Nah, power of Christ compels you. Channel energy, boom, and she just wiped out the entire
and then healed
room.
us.
Yeah, and healed us
That's
while
true.
doing it.
And
That
healed
was
you.
cool.
And because of her,
I didn't need it, but
because of her
was a nice
massive increase
gesture.
in armor, and she was the one that got the attention of the boss.
I'm sorry. People who didn't do any damage, like in multiple combat situations, don't get a voice.
Oh, he did damage. One
Yeah.
to me because he threw his damn raptor
People
on
who
me
only do damage to their allies don't get a voice.
for
So
not a good cause. Okay,
I
I did
guess
damage to
nobody-
my teammates
yeah.
for an end goal. You did it just
At
to be
least-
stupid.
At least when
and annoying.
I like make an animal or one of my cohorts like have unnatural lust
I ain't backing
about
you up. They're
something,
right.
I do it on purpose. I do it on purpose, sir.
Don't look at me, Chad.
okay.
They are right. They
Yeah.
are 100% right.
Jeez.
You didn't do anything
My
against the bats.
my
With our
hijinks,
You
powers
threw a
combined.
chakram at the skeletons and missed.
my hijinks are
You
always
whipped
on purpose.
Everything. The only thing useful you did this entire encounter?
Store him on the floor.
No. No. There is
It didn't
only
even
one,
help.
There is only one useful thing you did this entire encounter.
Take a hit.
Your pets set off the traps, and no one else had to deal with that.
Oh yeah, and the bad juju came out, and then
Yeah, we used his raptor and his wolf as a stalking horse.
Stopped the trap from
And
continuing.
then
It was
yeah,
the
Joey and
canary.
Steve.
It was the canary in the
Yeah,
coal mine.
And yeah. So and
It
then
was
Joey and Steve disabled the weird black tentacle
smoke of death.
It was a breath of
tendril.
despair trap.
Yeah,
It was the smoke
bad
monster
juju.
from Lost.
it was bad juju.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we fought the
Except it didn't
undead.
suck.
Steve disabled it and Joey helped. We'll call it.
It was 50-50 the whole way together.
Steve
Teamwork.
disabled it and you helped.
Makes the dream work.
And DreamWorks makes Shrek.
And then
we all know
wait.
Shrek is love.
Yeah.
Shrek is love.
No, well,
It's all
I
over
think,
now.
Well, and then when we first, I mean, we can go back a little bit.
But anyway,
When we first met Joey's character,
To the future?
no, on the road,
Oh, okay.
on the road, I saw her face, and now I'm a believer. There was not a trace
Of doubt,
of
in
doubt
your
in
mind?
my mind that she was a halfling.
It's true.
accidentally. in love.
Continuing.
I
on.
mean, it's parody.
So anyway,
It's a joke, dude.
parody.
So then we fought the big I think he was a zombie.
was a white.
Fallen barbarian king.
Me and Stuart were the only ones that knew what he was. We were like, we think it's a zombie, and then he did something. We're like, I don't think it's a
I don't
zombie.
think it's a
You
zombie.
rolled well enough to know that he was in fact undead,
Yeah.
and he was zombie-esque, but he wasn't a zombie.
Every time he did
But you
something,
didn't
we were
roll
like,
well enough to know he was actually a
we were
white.
like, is he dead? Yeah, I think he's dead. Oh no, he's definitely undead.
And
Is
then
he a
as-
zombie?
He's
Yeah, he's
definitely
definitely
undead.
a zombie. No, he's not a zombie.
And then as
Yeah,
soon
I
as
don't
the
think he's a
energy
zombie.
I don't
drained and
think he's a
sucked
zombie.
Chad's levels out, it was like, oh.
Yeah,
he's a white.
Yeah, Chad
Zombies-
went
zombies don't do
down
that.
a level, and that's when we were like, yeah, he's definitely
it's
not a zombie.
It's not. You don't go down a level.
No, his stats basically went to the equivalency of the
Yeah,
previous.
well,
level.
a
a
fourth
negative
level
level is like a template. It sits over you until
Yeah.
it gets cleared out, and I'm gonna have to
Sits
look up and figure out exactly
ogre
how
you?
to clear it out. Oh,
All right, I think we've gone too far quad away from the actual subject of what we're talking about.
that joke. That was a stretch, buddy. That probably would have gone over someone's head.
Any more? Is that it?
I was gonna let someone.
Are we done?
I thought we were taking turns.
I can't think of it.
Oh, and it falls with Steve.
Oh man.
It's 90% Shrek jokes.
So then he was missing a lot. He hit Chad, then he hit Crystal.
He
And
hit
then he
Chad on
just
of
whiffed.
opportunity.
Yeah, then he just
Yeah.
He
whiff,
hit
whiff,
Crystal
whiff.
once because I rolled high enough. Here's the kicker. When Crystal started using all of her abilities to buff her armor up even more, his attack was only a +2.
Yeah.
She had an armor of 23. I needed a nat 20 to hit her. And the problem was the way that character, the way that bad guy was supposed to be played, he's not really intelligent per se, enough to know I'm going to take the attacks of opportunity. I don't care. This thing, Rand, is the problem here. I'm going to go wipe that thing off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
He flies into a rage, because barbarian, and then he just bashes you all until he is destroyed.
Because, I mean, consistently, and this was all joking aside, I was the one that was like, from afar, just nailing him with thing after thing.
The thing with that fight is if there was anything else after that, you were not going to be useful because you blew
You were running at
everything
everything.
you had.
I threw out everything I had. I ran out of spells, actually.
Used every single
I
spell
used every
slot
I
you
spell.
think
had.
your last spell was the one.
Yeah, I had
put
to
him down at
resort to
1,
magic missile.
and that put him down to 1.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the one before that, you had to resort to your not maximized scorching ray.
Yes.
You actually had to roll die. It was not
Yes.
24. You hit him for like 13 or something.
Yeah, I had to resort to magic missile. And if I had done math correctly, which I didn't, I would have killed him.
But he didn't. So
No,
did
I did not math good.
So
I do
killed
know
him.
math good. Words hard. Math hard.
Math is difficult.
Math hard.
Rand
So-
no understand
Ren
numbers.
no need numbers.
And-
Ren need wine.
Rand no need sword. Which end pointy?
And so because of that, we ended up getting a few weapons and a ring. Well, actually, one sword, one ring.
The Hobbit got the ring.
There were so many Lord of the Rings jokes.
There was
I'm sorry. The Hobbit is in the background correcting us. Halfling. Sorry. The halfling
Hobbit.
got the ring.
look, if your feet are furry and you're 3 feet high,
You're a hobbit.
yeah, Hobbit. Yeah. Walks
Well,
like
first
a
it
duck,
was Bilbo.
quacks like a duck.
And then after Bilbo,
and then goes through the room full of guano, not wearing shoes.
I think the best thing was that we found out what the ring did, and in typical, like, I don't know, was that the actual stats
That
of
was
the ring?
the actual ring.
That's fantastic. So the one, the halfling got the ring of conjuration, and it conjures food and water.
I forget the exact name
which
of the
is
ring.
awesome.
But it's
So
a,
she-
It's the ring of
a,
gluttony.
Ring of sustenance.
Ring of sustenance. So she can have 11
The ring of ambrosia.
second breakfast, supper,
Here's the best part about the
lunch,
ring of sustenance.
brunch.
Second breakfast.
It
I
does
said
not.
second breakfast.
Oh,
It does not summon food.
11 C's.
It doesn't just summon food. The ring of sustenance, when you're wearing it, provides the wearer with the benefit of basically having eaten food, so you don't need
That's gonna
to.
run out so quick.
You don't need to eat as much.
We don't really.
Well, okay, I'm just saying, like, for all in his purpose. And here's the cool part: she only needs 2 hours of sleep to gain the benefit of 8.
Truth.
Oh, well, that's neat. So I guess you're on watch duty from now on.
Every single night.
The halfling now?
Well,
you're
we'll put
small.
you.
They won't see you.
We'll put you in a tree so you can actually see like farther than 5 feet. That's why we're gonna put you in a tree.
Okay, 'cause now I have to stay with you for a minute.
Just stand on the paladin's horse.
Stand on the paladin's
Just
horse.
stand on the paladin's horse, and you'll be about 6 feet tall.
Oh
at
yeah,
that point.
because we all ride horses. What is she riding?
Then I feel like I would.
a raptor.
No, she does not have a raptor. She has.
Fit on it.
She has. I had 2 options to go with. When you are a small creature, not a medium creature, instead of a horse, you could have a pony.
Name Bill.
And I
Build a pony.
I chose not to have a pony.
Aw.
You are riding roughly the equivalent of a
Large rabbit.
What are those called? Caucasian shepherds.
Oh,
You have a
big
war
dog. You ride a dog? That's awesome.
You ride a war
That's
dog.
fantastic. His name is Scooby. No, that's awesome. I wish I could ride a dog.
Like a dire wolf, but not a dire wolf at all. Like, like a war dog.
Okay,
now
so-
she's excited.
okay.
She gets to
In,
ride
in Lord of the
dire.
Rings, the big dogs that the orcs ride, those are wargs. Think the same thing, but smaller, halfling size. Like a halfling could ride it.
Yeah.
But yes,
For
that's
those
what
of
you're
you
riding.
not watching, we're just conversing with people in the room.
And his name is Scooby. Yes, it is.
Apparently, it's not.
It is
Scooby.
now.
I said it on the mic,
Scooby
so
it
I guess
is.
it's official.
No.
Matt, is its name Scooby?
I was gonna wait for her to come up with a name, and if it was stupid, then it's gonna be Scooby. I understand that. Come up with a name, and if it's stupid,
Scooby
I'm
it
totally
is.
gonna override.
We're putting
it.
you on the spot. 5, 4, 3, 2. Yep, it's Scooby.
That's canon, guys. That's canon.
And then he's got a
And
nephew named
and to end
Steppy.
it, we did not level
Let's
up,
not do
so
that.
we should level up next time, though.
We should level up next time.
So
Well, you guys,
we should.
I'm stuck on 4.
Now you
No,
will
you're fine.
level up.
You'll level. You
But-
can fix that.
Yeah,
There's a way to
gets
fix
fixed.
it so you don't have that negative level.
It's
No,
anymore.
you'll be
just
fine.
it's
Maybe if we had a wizard in the group, he could probably help you out with that. But we don't. No wizards around
But
here.
you had to be a druid.
I honestly don't remember how to do it. I'm gonna have to look it up. But
Wizard would probably know.
It's a template that sits over your character. So like it's not you don't just all the experience you earned, back to 0. You're now at 4. No, it's just you end up sitting there and go, okay, I've got a level 5 character. I've got a negative level, so unfortunately I'm now hurt to the point of where I'm almost level 4. But I'm still level 5. When this goes away, I'll be back to normal.
Yeah.
okay.
All right,
So
we
that
need
was
to wrap
Pathfinder,
up.
guys.
Yeah, Pathfinder.
Yeah, that was Pathfinder.
We need to wrap up.
Cool.
Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Really appreciate all of you. You can catch us on iTunes and Podbean and Google Play.
All the
just
social media.
Just search Really Likable Geeks.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. You can catch me on Twitter. My handle is @thatStephenBrown.
You can find me at Believe the Weave.
And you can find me at Stu_, no last name.
You can find us on Patreon as well. Just search Really Likable Geeks Patreon. And you can hear some super secret podcasts and get to see some video podcasts
They
as
are
well.
not safe for work. Be very careful.
Yeah.
They are explicit,
Send the children out of the room.
especially.
Don't watch these at work.
Yeah, please don't.
Please don't.
And please do not download them, share them, and upload them publicly. We would appreciate it if you didn't do that because these are special for Patreon.
I'm saying, in
people
fact,
only.
not please. You can't. Sorry.
Yeah.
will
Website's
find
coming
you.
soon. I said that before, but the website is coming soon. We've just been waiting to get the video content out.
Yep.
Soon we'll be doing these live streaming, possibly on Facebook.
Drunken Final Fantasy 9.
And Drunken Final Fantasy 9 is nearing. It has come very
Yeah.
close. Very, very close. Within the next couple of weeks, I would say.
We're gonna have to skip a week of Pathfinder to do
yes.
it. So
Yes, we will.
that'll be fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you guys all for listening and watching, and we will see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Bye.